Well, this is Raven Dana, and it is Solstice Eve. Thank you for joining me here at Walking Between the Worlds. And yes, I am wearing holiday glitz and glamour on my head. And yes, those are jingle bells for my earrings. Well, the holidays are upon us. Solstice, Yule, Christmas is around the corner. And I thought this might be a great day to have a little bit deeper conversation about some practices that we can take up that will help us lose some stress and have a little more of an edge in managing our lives now in the busy season, but also in the year ahead. So I want you to consider that most of the things that emerge into our lives emerge from that space of darkness. And again, I'm going to encourage you to recognize that we have given, and culturally given, the thought or the idea of darkness a bad reputation. I mean the silence, the place between, the liminal space, the dream time, the darkness where the light and the activity isn't distracting us from ourselves. So the way that you might wake up sometimes with an idea or a fear in the middle of the night, the way that you might find in the darkness that which you have been hiding from or avoiding shows up for you. That's the space I'm going to invite you to enter today. To allow yourself the dark time, the winter time, as a place to process. Again, I don't mean analyze, I don't mean figure things out. I mean be with, sit with, be with yourself and see what shakes out. What have you been putting up with? What do you want to create for yourself in the coming year? How do you want to remake yourself? Who do you want to be that's different from who you've been before? And I don't mean in the sense of making yourself better or self-improvement. I mean in the sense of being more authentically you, being the you that you really are, rather than putting on a pretense or trying to let other people see what you think they need to see. So I'm going to invite you to look into the dark in that space, that place underground where seeds sit and wait for the sun, that place within the womb where we sit and wait for ourselves to be ready for birth. So here's a kitty. Hello, kitty. Come here, kitty. Okay, so I want you to consider that the darkness is your friend, and that this time of year offers you an opportunity that's really not available in the heat of the summer, or with all of the activity in the spring, or all the changes in the fall. The stark, dark, cold silence is a wonderful place to have solitude and peace and rest. It's a place to be with and sit with yourself and allow yourself to emerge from that darkness refreshed and renewed. So again, solstice is tomorrow. Shortest day of the year, longest night of the year. A time when you can be the light, call the light back, and with the very slow and methodical return of the daylight, allow yourself to return to yourself. Allow yourself the greater opportunity to be more of who you are and less of who you think you should be. More of who you are and less of who you think other people think you should be. So it's a lovely opportunity, this darkness, to be able to sit quietly with yourself and have a new freedom from all the light, all the harshness, all the busyness of the world around you. So even in the midst of the holidays, sometimes the holidays are not as chipper and joyful as we all make them out to be. Sometimes we discover that in the holiday time, we find that being with our family is stressful. Sometimes we are reminded of the reasons why we're not with our family all that much. Even though we may love them, being in their company often brings up our own unfinished business, our own unhealed wounds. Sometimes our ability to be around family depends on how much we have actually sat with ourselves and allowed ourselves to move through some of those things. So I'm going to offer this suggestion to you, that if you feel overwhelmed, that if you feel edgy, that if you feel anxious or sad or melancholy, that you give yourself permission to do what is right for you. And if that means to sit by yourself, if that means to take a walk, if that means a nap, if that means to go play a game with a family member or with a friend to get some joy back in your life, whatever that means, give yourself some permission to do it. Don't just sit with clenched fists and gritted jaw, trying to put your game face on. Don't do that. Give yourself some permission to emerge from that darkness and into the light as a new version of yourself, as a more authentic version of yourself. So, we talk a lot about magic during the year and what practicing magic is and what it looks like. We make magic all the time. Our intentions gather energy. Our repeated words call things to us and repel other things from us. Our words are often spells. They send our images and intentions out in all directions. We use the language of magic and spells and the craft. But the truth is, that is what magic is on a daily basis. We do it all day, every day. We draw from the deep place within us with our words and images and intentions, and we create from that space. The only difference between that and when we talk about practicing magic is that when we're practicing, it's no longer unconscious and random. So the more able you become to focus your intention, to hold images, to gather energy, that's the degree to which you can move events and circumstances in the direction of your desires. That's what magic is. Now, sure, there are deeper layers of how to practice, but on the most fundamental level, this is what we're talking about. This is a starting place. So if you want something to shift in your life, instead of hoping and wishing, create those images. See the thing that you want as if it's already done, already there. Feel the emotions that gather around it, and let the images and emotions create the energy that opens the pathway from where you are to where that is, from how you feel today to that image and those emotions in that new situation or that shifted situation. And again, I am reminding you, you can't change anyone else with these methods. What you can do, though, is create a path to circumstances that are more in keeping with your dreams and desires. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. Next week, when we're in the between, when we're in that timeless liminal space between this year and next year, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to do some practices that are very different from what people ordinarily consider at the end of the year when they do goal setting. So I'm actually going to tell you, goal setting is not really the way to get things to happen. It's a way to generally create a new set of shoulds for yourself. And we're going to take a look at how, very specifically, to use your preferences and to use your imagery to create and magnetize a way to move forward into the new year differently than you've probably done before. So for today, what I'd like you to do is give yourself a break. Enjoy wherever you are today. Whatever happens or doesn't happen over the weekend, for your Christmas, for your coming week, whatever happens or doesn't happen, see if you can enjoy the moment. Remind yourself that even though things may not be the way you want them to be, that there's probably something you can do to bring more happiness to yourself. That you don't have to be a victim of other people's moods or circumstances. You don't have to go to parties you don't want to be at. You don't have to stay at dinners when you're exhausted and you need to rest. You don't have to do anything. So give yourself that little bit of space to go inside and find that quiet zone, that dark space. You know, that room with a little fireplace and a cozy spot and a book in your hand and a drink in the other, and to sit quietly inside yourself and ask, what can I do for me? What can I do now? What would serve me and those I love the best? And whatever that is, do that. See how that works. All right. Well, again, happy solstice, Merry Yule, Merry Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And look for the meditation that will follow. There will be one that'll get you through to next week. And I hope you are having joy in every moment you can. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you. I'll see you right before the year turns. Bye now.